Today we're going to start with purchase module on NCR Counterpoint. If Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you want me to slow down or if you have any questions. You can use the chat box to send me a question. Okay, so you have an NCR Counterpoint icon on your desktop. You open that and you put your username, password, and you have the screen on your desktop. So to start with, I'm going to explain you customers brief and then purchasing. We already did customers module last week and there's a recording available on YouTube. You can always go through it and let me know if you have questions on that. Sorry. So I'm going to go over the customers quickly, explaining you how that module works, and then we will jump into purchases. On your left hand side, you see this uh, list of parent menus: point of sale, inventory, customers, purchasing, sales history. So in customers, you have customers, quick customers, ship to address, account management. You go into customers and then you hit the magnifying glass if you want to view any existing customers or if you want to make any changes into those accounts. To bring the screen, you can use F9 and you can start typing the name of the customer if you want to look by search by the name in keyword. In NCR, we only use the keyword field to look for, like to do any search, and we don't use the search for field. So in keyword, if I want to look for any lucky stores, I go and click OK. It shows me that it's a customer type is account receivables. If it is AR, that's a credit customer. And you can have all the information, name, address, email, etc. filled here. If there are any terms, you can set terms, that is 30, 60, 15. You can always add more terms. Or if you want to have a COD customer. We need COD accounts because sometimes we have to ship the order and collect the payment at the time of delivery. So for those customers, we can have cash on delivery. Under activity, there's an option called allow tickets, allow orders, allow layaways. If you want that customer can make any purchases from Lucky, we have to enable this option. If you want to disable the account or you want to suspend the account, you can always take off those options and there cannot be no more sales made to that customer. Again, if you want to enable, you just enable, you hit save. In contacts, you can add the contact information, emails to send the statements. Payment, if you want to have any restrictions on the check amount, like it cannot be more than this amount, it has to be certain amount. Credit limit, if you want to set credit limit. or if you want to have unlimited, you can have unlimited. You can also add credit card information for the file if they want you to charge whenever you ship their orders. Then you have an option to send statements by itself end of every month. So you have to enable in AR info. You go to statement code, that's end of the month. So every end of the month, enable send statement as email, and NCR will send email by itself to that customer end of every month. So this is how you make any changes or enable or disable any options. If you want to create a new customer, you go to same customers, click on customer. If you want to create a new customer, we use auto assign and we start typing the new customer name. Customer type, if it is a cash customer or it's an credit customer, we have to choose it here. If it's a business or it's a individual. Since it's a cash customer, even if you add these quantities here, it won't let you sell without receiving the deposits. So this feature is only effective or active when you choose customer type as account receivable. For cash customers, you don't get the other options. Sales rep, you can assign this customer to particular sales rep. Also, there's a category, which is very important. We can choose it's a what kind of store it is or what kind of customer it is. So that if you have any prices, rules, special discounts, or any promotions for those categories, it will be automatically applied to that customer. Whenever he buys anything from Lucky, he will be getting those special prices if the category is selected before. Same thing, activity, allow tickets. If you want to add the contact information, since it's a cash customer, it doesn't let you make any changes here. You make it a credit customer, you can put him as a net 30 days. AR account is accounts receivable always. Limit if you want to set to, we don't have to add the decimals. Once everything looks okay, you hit save button. Now if you want to add one more, you just click on the plus sign, or if you see there's a control insert option also on the keyboard to start adding a new customer. If you want to just get out of this window, you just press escape. Are you sure? Yes, and then escape. So that's how the newer customers, you can create new customers. You want to change anything in that customer, you can go there. Account management is to view any transactions in that customer. Let me choose the customer which we already have some details here. Okay. So in account management, you can see any transactions, any credits, any invoices, if there is any balance, open balance, 90 days, 61, 31 to 60 days, what is the balance you can see here. And if you go into AR documents, it will show you all the invoices or all the credit notes, debit notes, any returns, everything here. You can also change the dates filter. So you can see only, like if you want to see only January for this customer, so it will only show you the January documents. Unposted documents is if there are any invoices or any cash receipts that we have entered in the system but still not finished posting it. So in NCR, how we do it is we enter a payment, we hit save button. And to apply that payment, we click on post. So first we hit save. Like if you make any new entries, we click on save. And to apply it, we click post. So you have to make sure you only apply those payments once it is 100% confirmed that there are no mistakes in those entries. I'm going to show you how to do the cash receipts also. And here you will see all the orders, if there are any quotations, and if there are any tickets already been sold to that customer, like any invoices in that date range. To receive a payment from a customer, you go to customers, cash receipts, enter. Here it will ask you for the customer. You can click this magnifying glass or you can click F9 on your keyboard to get this list. And you go into that customer. And then you click on auto assign. Any document number, item number, customer number, vendor number, we use auto assign. So in auto assign, it will automatically number the customers. You don't have to worry about it. Then you choose cash receipt, you choose the customer, you choose the document number, and then it's going to ask you for the pay code, like how the customer is paying, in what form. So if it is paying by check, by debit card, by credit card, you choose that mode of payment, the day, and you can choose the amount received. Then you go to lines. If the customer is paying to his open invoices, like invoice to invoice, you go to lines, and then at the document number, you hit this glass, magnifying glass, to get the list of all the open balances. So it's going to show you this invoice. There's a balance of $4.28. So you click OK. And since he already gave you $5, so this 428 is pay in full. Now it shows you there's a still difference of 72 cents. So maybe we can just go and change it to 428, the same amount of the invoice, and it will show there is no more amount remain. If it is there remaining and if he has more invoices to pay, you can always select multiple invoices in one payment. If a customer is paying you 3 invoices together, 4 invoices together, you can always put that amount here, and in document number, you can keep selecting, adding more and more invoices that he's paying for. And once everything is okay, you hit save. Never hit post in this window, hit save button. And end of the day, once all the cash receipts have been entered and you're ready to close the cash counter, you have to go to cash receipts edit list, and then you choose the date and hit preview. So it will tell you this is the payment you received today with check for this customer for this invoice of this amount. It will show you all the cash receipts that you received or you entered for that day. Once everything looks good, if everything is correct, there are no mistakes, no changes, we close this window, close, and we hit cash receipts post. It will ask you for once again confirmation. Once you hit yes, it will post all those payments. And then there's no way we can change those payments. We cannot edit them, we cannot correct them. Okay, Lauren, your question is if the customer is paying not the full amount and just half amount. Yeah, so you just check, you go into that lines invoice. For example, customer is paying for this invoice only $2. You put $2 and you hit save. Here in cash receipt also, you have to enter the same amount, $2, and you hit save. So that's the partial payment will be added to that invoice. Now, once you go into cash receipt edit list, you want to make sure that everything you made entries that day are good. You preview for safer side. If you want, you can print it. So you see this has a 428 and then $2. What all we added, it is showing up here. Because 428 was added separately and then again $2 were added separately. Now I want to delete the 428 because he made a partial payment, he didn't make the 428. So I close this, I go to cash receipts, enter again, and I can use this lookup tool to see all the payments that we entered for that day. So now this one is wrong. So I go into that and I delete this entry. So now I see I only have one entry that is $2. That looks good for me. I go to cash receipt post and I post that entry, like all the day entries, not one by one, but all the day entries. We just hit cash receipt post. It will post all the transactions, all the entries we did that day in cash receipts. It's going to ask you if you want to print the cash receipts journal. I always use yes to see what was received against what invoice. Was there any discount? How was the payment made? I print this report using print option, or if I want to email, I can email this report. Now, if you go into the customer account management under AR documents, you can see that $2 was applied today against this ticket. So he still has an open balance of, okay, it's going to take a while to update all the post, but you can always go and check in the customer's report to see if he still has any open balance. So it will say that he still has an open balance of $2.28. So you know how to enter the cash receipts, any payments, full payments, partial payments, or if the customer is paying in multiple currencies, it has to be in a different cash receipts. You can have one payment mode, one payment type, if it is a check, if it is a cash, US, if it is a euros, if it is guilders. For multiple invoices, you can use one common entry. But if it is in two different currencies or if it is in three different currencies, you have to make a separate entry for that. So for this customer, if he's paying 25 cents by cash, US cash, for this invoice, and then he's paying more, so I use the new cash receipt for the same customer. And now this time he's paying guilders for that open invoice. and then rest he wants to pay by check. And then you hit save. If you want to see what all the entries you made, you can always use this lookup tool. It will show you all the transactions in cash, guilders, and check for this customer. And once you're ready to post all those entries, you use cash receipt post. Okay. So cash receipts and account management, creating new customers. If you want to give statements to customers, account statements, you use customers, reports, customer statements. You go to customer statements, it's gonna ask you want to order by, okay, since you're doing only for one customer, you don't have to worry about it. But if you are printing for multiple customers, like 10 customers, then we can always sort it by customer name or customer number. So since we are only gonna print for one customer here, you choose the dates. If it's for last week, yesterday, last month, or if you want to have a custom date, like you want from 1st January to 5th February. And then you go to customer, you choose which customer you want to print the statement for. So this is like range. You have to enter from 106 to 106 if you're just the same customer. If you want from 106 to 109, you can always have that range. And then you hit preview. So it's going to give you the statement of that customer, the balance brought forward, the payments, if there is any more purchases, or all those entries will come up here in the statement. And at the end, it will show you if there is any opening balance. Since that payment is posted, it's still for, it's going to still show up that amount today because the Z report has not yet been generated. Once the end of the day, if you want to print it for tomorrow, it's going to take off that amount and give you the exact balance. So like if you go into aging report, in aging report, it will show you the exact up-to-date balance of that customer. In statements, it won't add up anything which is still not posted. Okay, it shows up. Okay, yeah, since we posted all the cash receipts, it's going to reflect here in the statements. And what is not yet posted in the cash receipts, it will not reflect on the statements. So like these payments that we tried now are not posted. It's still not showing in the cash in the customer statement. But once I post those transactions, I see that payment has been posted to the account and it updates the statement. Now, if you want to, if all the statement looks good and you want to email this to the customer, just hit email. And Once you say yes, it's going to send the statement to the customer. So that's how you print the statements. You enter the cash receipts. You make any changes to the customer account, credit limits, creating a new customer. Now, you want to, Lauren, are you aware about creating new items in the system? All right, so let me straight go to the purchase module. In on the left side, you see purchasing. It's where you enter all your purchase orders. You can do receivings for inventory. To create a new purchase order, you go to purchase request and purchase request enter. But before that, you can create all your suppliers under purchasing under vendors. So in vendors, you already have these suppliers created. But if you want to create any new vendor, new supplier, use auto assign. Okay, I think I need to enable auto assign feature system. The purchases, vendors, and then I hit auto assign. So it will automatically assign the vendor number. You put the name and all the details. If there are any terms with that vendor, we can have different levels of vendors. If he's a distributor, he's a dealer, he's a wholesaler. We can have different kind of categories here. And the email and the contact information. Once you're ready, you hit save. And then we go to, we want to create a purchase order from that vendor. We go to purchase request, enter. Here again, it's going to ask you for the purchase request number. We use auto assign. It's going to ask you for the vendor number. You can always look up using the magnifying glass, or you can press F9 to bring that list. Or if you know the number, you can straight put the vendor number. And then you go to ship to. If you want to say that this purchase order is going to arrive at Miami location, you can create assign a location at Miami. If it's going to come to San Martin warehouse, you choose San Martin warehouse. You go to orders if you want to fill that detail. That was the estimated delivery date. If there are any specific buyers for this order, like who is placing this purchase order, like who has created this purchase order with the supplier. If there are any FOB terms, anything with the ship, if it's via shipped by a freight or by DHL, UPS, or different options. You can choose it here. Comment, you can enter like deal during end of the year. If you want to have any comments for that purchase orders. And then comes the lines. In lines, you enter all the items that are going to be in that purchase order. You press F9. We just disable this thing, do not show again. And then how many items, how many units are going to receive in that purchase order. Say 240. That's the price. 120, and say this time I'm receiving this for 355. Say 120. The price is 345, but the vendor gave you a discount of 5% on this. So now we are done with creating the purchase order. You can let the price be same, the cost. If there's any new cost, you put the new cost here. If there's any discount, you can put the discount in percentage or by amount. And once this is good, you go to miscellaneous charges. If there are any additional charges by the supplier, say he's going to charge you for freight, or if there is any extra commission, he's going to charge you, or if there are any other finance charges, you can add those charges in miscellaneous charges 1, 2, and 3. And once you're ready, you hit save. Yeah, don't hit post. You hit save there because maybe there is still something we were not able to enter at that moment. We forgot to enter. So we always want to keep that option open. So post, I prefer doing end of the day after going through a couple of times and making sure that there are no mistakes, there are no changes to be made in that document. So this was one purchase order. That way you can keep on adding more and more purchase orders. And once you're done with, let's have one more purchase order. This time with, for now, the unit is kept to each. If you would prefer to add by cases, we can always add a unit to the item that it comes in a 24 in a case or 72 in a case. And then here in the unit, you get the drop box to change it. I prefer keeping it in the pieces. Sometimes we don't know if the case quantity has been changed at the manufacturer's end. So it's better to keep it in the pieces unless your vendor asks you to place order in cases. So once we are ready with that, now this item, we didn't want it to add it. So if you want to delete any item here, you click on that item and press Control Delete. Or you can always right click and click delete. So now once the order looks good, you hit save. You can always apply document discount if there's a discount on the total invoice and not by each item. For example, for this purchase order, you're gonna get 5% discount on the whole order. You can use document discount, use percentage 5. So once you hit save, it's gonna recalculate all the item cost with 5% discount. So the prices change. The gross subtotal was 622, but with the document discount, it's $591. Once everything looks good, hit save. That's how you create purchase orders. So end of the day, you want to see what all purchase orders were made. You go to purchasing, purchase request, and then purchase request edit list. So edit list basically gives you all the transactions that you entered, you saved in the system, but you never posted. This edit list is common for if you go to tickets, there's a ticket edit list. Okay, so you go to purchase. Yeah, the markups, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's in a separate sheet. We can do that. But any expenses you wanted to add, like if there is any trade expense on the cost to increase to to update your cost prices, that's where we're going to use the purchase request enter. The markup thing is not in purchase request. So we go to post purchase request. Once everything, okay, I skipped this part. We go to purchase request edit list, and here you can go to preview. It's going to show you all the purchase orders that have been entered in the system with all the details. How many quantity we have entered, what is the price, so what's the final cost, what are the terms. If you think everything in this form, this is like a ledger, this is kind of a statement you want to print before posting all the purchase orders. So if everything looks okay, you can always use post purchase request. If you think you want to change some line, you go back to purchase request enter, and you can use this lookup tool, not this lookup tool. You see there are 3 purchase orders created, and we want to change to that. You want to change any, we just open that one. We go to, if you want to change the vendor number, you can change it here. If you want to change the lines, you can change. Like, no, this is no more 48, but this is gonna come 24, and the cost has been changed to 125. You save, you close this thing, and then you post. Once everything is confirmed, when everything you look is looking good, you go to post purchase request, and you hit save. You hit yes, and then it will ask you if you want to print all the purchase orders that have been entered. You can say yes, you can view, and if you want, you can print this report, or if you want to save it as a PDF, you go to file, printer setup, change it to the Microsoft print to PDF, and then you print it as a PDF. You hit OK, it's going to ask you where you want to save the PDF file. So purchase orders for this day. It's going to ask you for the purchase order forms. That's for the suppliers. If you want to send the purchase order to the supplier from the NCR. So it's going to create a purchase order, which you can straight email from here to your vendors. Again, you have to save it as a PDF and then send it as an attachment because it has multiple POs. Or you can send it to the management or back office so they can do the rest. They can send it to the supplier. Now once you create purchase orders, purchase requests, enter, you check if everything is okay, you post them. Now now the receiving part. The supplier ships the shipment, the order, to the warehouse. We go to receivings. Under purchasing, we go to receiving, and then we go to receiving, enter. Again, receiving number has to be auto assigned. Once you click auto assign, it will ask you which purchase order you are receiving today. So you open that, you select that purchase order, you click OK. It's going to ask you, do you want to copy all the lines, all the items to this receiving? We always say yes, selected. Quantity received default. So this is what NCR is asking you. Do you want NCR to fill the quantities that you received on base of purchase order? For example, if you place order for 60 pieces for that item, do you want NCR to just copy that 60 units again in the received quantity, or if you want to change it? Now, if you have 10 items, 20 items, or if you have a lot of items, and you see that most of the items came what you ordered, I will prefer keeping expected quantity. But if you think many of them are like different quantity and only few are matching, so I'll prefer 0. If I keep expected quantities, and then it's ask you if anything which is 0, what has to be done? Do you want to create a back order or you want to cancel it? Now this depends upon the vendor. If your supplier sends you a partial purchase order and keeps the remaining item in back order, you keep back order option here. But if the vendor doesn't follows up any back order system, you click cancel. Now he's asking you for, NCR is asking you if there are any miscellaneous charges on that invoice, on the supplier invoice. For example, if you forgot to add any other charges at the time of purchase order, you can still add those charges here, and it's gonna divide that charges on the items. Wait, okay. Now you click on lines. Since we said copy all those quantities, it's gonna put those quantities by default. That quantity expected was 12 and you received 12. If it was expected 12, you receive 12, and if it is 24, you receive 24. But you still have an option to change it. Like in case out of 4 items, everything came good except one. So you just go on that item and you change it to 12, or if it didn't came, so you change it to 0. So this is how you do receiving of any purchase order. So once you make a purchase order, you post, you go to receiving, you start receiving that goods, and at this point you can change the prices, because we have to change the prices of the goods once you receive it, and not maybe when you create a purchase order, because maybe that purchase order never comes and we just change the prices for no reason. So we create purchase orders keeping cost in mind, and we create receivings. We enter receivings for 2 things. One is inventory update and one is to price update. If you want to update your sale price and you want to update your inventory information, you have to go to receivings, enter. So for this item, you want to change the price to, like if you want to change margin by 10 points, so it's going to add 10%. If you want to add 30, it's going to add 30% markup. So for example, on this PO, if there's a, you want to add 10% or 20% on the price one, you put 20% and you say okay. So new price is going to be cost plus 20. If you want to add the freight and internal together, you have to add it one time. It's going to be 15 and 20. So that's going to be the new price. And if it's going to tell you the new price going up or going down from what it was before. So if the price is going down from the old price one, it's going to show the down sign. And if it's going up, it's going to show up sign. There's also a suggestion tool in NCR based on the rules we define in for the categories, for subcategories. For example, if you want to set all toothpaste should have 20% markup, all makeups should have 40% margins. So if you assign that rule while creating categories and subcategories, this tool can automatically calculate the price for you. So once you use this price, this is the suggestion price based on category and subcategory. If these items are in that category or subcategory, it will automatically suggest you that you don't have to put any new margin. NCR will suggest you, since it's a toothpaste, the markup should be at least 20%. If it's a makeup, the markup should be at least 40%. You just click on use this price and then you hit OK. And once you hit OK and everything looks good, you click save. Is that clear, Lauren? Like you want to add any markup or creating new prices has to be done at the receiving level. And once you hit save, you can close this. You don't need to post it right away. As I mentioned, post all the documents once you're 100% sure the entries are good, the prices are good, and everything information in that document looks correct. So that is one receiving. Now we can start adding another receiving from next purchase order. And this time we will select the quantities received defaults to 0. And we add a miscellaneous charge of $500 on that. You hit OK. You go to lines and then you see all the quantity received here is showing 0. So it lets you put the quantities that you actually received. Okay, Sunny, we can close the warehouse now. I think the receiving part is done, is good. Once you're done with the receiving, you save and then you hit the post. And in that way, you receive all the inventory from that purchase order and the inventory is updated. I think to start with, this much training and information is good, Sunny. So start using NCR and let me know where you guys stuck, and I'll try to resolve those issues. Thank you. Yeah, practice. Try to write down all the questions. Like if whatever questions you have, try to note down in one notepad in a Word file or post it in a WhatsApp, and then we'll try to issue all the question answers together. Like we can keep one question answer Zoom session where everybody can talk, can ask the questions, and we can have one-to-one session there. Like we can try to answer all those questions that time. Alrighty, Lauren, let me know if anything. Yes.